Alright, what's up everybody? So, this is going to be kind of a down and dirty little demo today because I've had quite a few people asking me about my lathe tools, the carbide lathe tools that I made. I figured today to make a texturing tool. I just got some 1/2 inch round stock here that I'm going to cut a little slot out with my angle grinder and hopefully fit this in there somehow so I can do some texturing on the lathe. So we will see how it goes, I guess. So you're coming along for the ride. Alright, let's begin. Okay, so in order to make the cutter head spin freely, I went ahead and took the guide bearing off this old router bit that I had, and the inside diameter of the hole on the cutter head is a tad too small for the bearing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to drill it out right now and hopefully get that bearing to slide in nice and easy. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now. Alright, now that I got her cut down to the right diameter for the bearing, I'm going to go ahead and clean it up with some little maybe mineral spirits or something just to get all the oil off of it, and then slide the bearing on in, and then we'll cut the rod. So let's carry on. Alright, here's a little trick I learned from an old diesel mechanic. When you have a bearing that is just a hair a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, which is perfect because you want it to be a nice tight snug fit. So without continuing to grind down the hole and taking the chance of grinding too much and overshooting, you want to shrink the bearing a little bit. How do you do that? You freeze it. How do you freeze it? Liquid nitrogen, liquid propane, liquid butane. In this case, butane. Look at the ice forming on it already. So before it heats up too much, you want to get it in there. And there you go. That thing is in there nice and snug. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the slot. Actually, I'm going to drill the hole first to attach the wheel, and then cut the slot for the wheel to ride in.
Perfect.
Got it all ground down now. Give it a rough little file. Maybe I'll clean it up with some sandpaper. But yeah, it's ready to be tapped. And then make sure it spins freely, and then we'll get it in a handle. Decisions. Now, if you don't have a custom hardwood fabricator in your town who you can go to and get all their scraps and offcuts and things like that for free, then I highly suggest moving to a town where they have such shop, because it's the shit, and I get all my wood, well, a majority of my wood, hardwoods, exotics, for free. So yeah, just picked up a whole buttload of babinga. Got a ton of teak, which, if anybody's aware, that's like $20 a board foot in some areas. It's pretty rare. But for the handle, I think I'm gonna go with some white oak. And this one looks pretty good. Hey, just a quick tip for you guys. If anybody plans on making any of their own lathe tools like I have, using the square stock, I went and picked up one of these hollow chisel mortising bit at Harbor Freight, believe it or not. And I just went ahead and drilled a 1/2 inch hole, and then went ahead and cleared it out with the mortiser. And that would be pretty difficult otherwise to do with a chisel. Not difficult, but just time consuming. But that really cuts down on the time, and really a big advantage. So highly recommend that if you guys plan on doing this, and just makes it super easy and cuts your time nearly in half. So, and then obviously, you know, if you're using the round stock, then that's easy. You just drill a hole. But if you're going to be using the square stock to make lathe tools, I highly recommend getting hollow chisel mortising bit. There's another tip for you. If you're having trouble drilling through and you start getting that high-pitched squeal, just put a little wax on her. Just full of tips today. You're welcome. Now, typically for this, you'll want to use an epoxy, but I was all out, so I had to go ahead and use some Gorilla Glue, and it works okay. Good enough? Good enough. Now with this stuff, I think you're supposed to get it wet. That's what she said. Hey-o! Oh yeah. That's a tight fit. I didn't bother sealing the handle just because it's a shop tool, but that's pretty much it. Now we'll let it dry and go ahead and give her a whirl. Okay, so now in order to try this thing out, I just got a little piece of wood chucked up in here. Actually, it's the little cutoff from my vase that I just made. So now we're going to go ahead and give her a whirl. Cool. I think it works pretty well. Now there's a whole plethora of designs you can make with this thing, but yeah. Say that was a success. So there you have it. Shop tools, how to make them, and this one in particular for the lathe.